exactly. So what's in 3 years in the Port Hills,
Yeah.
what would you kind of say is your kind of proudest achievement?
My proudest achievements have been just seeing on the face of Port Hills people, when finally they got a resolution with their insurance and EQC, and a lot of the work that was done by my office to get there. I think the other ones too was that, just to see the immense rebuild and recovery work that's actually gone ahead, and the Port Hills now, a lot of those major decisions like the cruise ship terminal at Littleton, so there's some surety around that now. Just also the other part of it, just that last announcement, with a new mental health institution, hospital that's going to be built. And so the beginning of that, next year, that to me is a huge thing. And because it's, our health is the most important thing in a lot of ways, and particularly our mental health, post-earthquake and that. So I think that's a great story also. But I think the other part of it is that one of the issues in the Port Hills, and particularly post-earthquakes and post-fires, is actually been the environment, and particularly the Opawaho or the Heathcote River. And so, a lot of the pollution, it's one of the most polluted rivers actually in Christchurch. And it's not actually anything in a lot of ways to do with the rural lands, further up in the headwaters. It's actually more about urban pollution. So, we've got to be looking at things like a lot of stormwater runoff, from the roads, from the zinc that comes off the roofs of the older houses.
Castles are really interested in getting involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they planned, they drew up plans for a bridge, didn't they, over part of the Heathcote?
Yeah, they did.
Do you have any idea what's going on with that? Would you support
it's still work in progress. Yeah. I mean, Alistair's a great guy, and that just shows you how business and community can work together. And also, one thing that Alistair is about is that he wants to actually, when that bridge is built, is that there needs to be a cultural sort of part of that as well. A Ngaitahu part of that.
And that'd be interesting
inside that sort of rebuild.
With the history of it as well, because it's almost got a Victorian.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's right.
Yeah.
So let's just marry, excuse the pun, Ngaitahu and also Victorian, that sort of whole ideology thing together. Look, the other part of it though is that the situation around the Port Hills, and particularly post the fires, and so much damage was done, particularly to a lot of the a lot of the flora there. So I saw this after it. There's a lot of well-meaning people, and there's a lot of sort of well-meaning organisations. But what I thought that needed to happen is that there needed to be more of a sort of a structured approach to replanting the Port Hills. And particularly that approach should be around, there should be a cultural plan and an ecological plan. There also should be more structure around the trees, the types of trees, native trees, and the supply. Because there's going to be around 10 million trees that are going to be needed, to sort of reforest the Port Hills. Yeah. So I set up this working group, and we launched 2 weeks ago now, Te Tapawai Orako Trust, the Tree Footprints Trust. And it's been set up, it's a legal entity now, and what they're going to do is work with organisations like the Summit Road Society, Ngaitahu, the council.
Trees for Canterbury.
Yeah, all of those, Trees for Canterbury. And also the other thing, like looking at developing micro nurseries where actually people can grow their own trees for the Port Hills, because it's not a simple matter of going and get a propagated tree from a nursery and take it up and plant it in the Port Hills. You've got to actually do it from a seedling, and then from there it's got to be a tree that can withstand the different variations of weather up there, the different soils, and all of that. And the cultural plan as well. A lot of those areas we call wahitapu, which are actually sacred areas, and specific trees need to be replanted back there. So this is why it's really important to have that really collective going on, you know, between the ecological plan and the cultural plan as well.